Hello guys, have you watched episode 3 yet? This scene may be the most crucial scene in the entirety of House of the Dragon, and it well may be the final call for peace before all hell breaks loose in the Seven Kingdoms. In this scene, we see Rhaenyra sneaking into the Grand Sept to finally have a word of reconciliation with Alicent after Rhaenyra had hesitantly opened a personal message from the Queen Dowager. After a bad start from Rhaenyra, Alicent reveals King Viserys' last words, as it dawned upon Rhaenyra that the impending bloodshed was built upon a misunderstanding of Viserys' mumbled last words. We also see a brief moment of relief from Rhaenyra as she realized that she was still the rightful heir to the throne after all. Alicent also had an oh bleep moment where she discovered her folly, and seconds of awkward contemplation ensued. Alicent tried to cover the realization of her mistake up by urging Rhaenyra to leave before she gets discovered, and the next couple of seconds will be one of Emma Darcy and Olivia Cooke's most brilliant scenes to date. Juxtaposed by the purifying flames of the Grand Sept's candles, Rhaenyra tried to stop the impending war by pleading with Alicent, a queen dowager in her own right, to put an end to the war. For Alicent, it is too late. All the men in her family are out of her control, and a way to raise armies to support their cause. Her face is one of lost hope and helplessness, as we remember how Alicent was brought up. She was always subservient to the powerful men of the realm, the king and her father, who was also the hand of the king to 3 kings. The camera then switches to Rhaenyra, whose face turns from the subtlest of internalized shock to silent panic to despair, and then with the slightest of all nods, turn to resolve. I had to repeat the entire scene a few times to savor the unspoken emotions that these two were giving, just with their faces. The whole scene reminded me of a theory in psychology, namely the Precarious Manhood Beliefs, Boston et al. 2021, that examines what society felt was expected of a real man. The concept of precarious manhood was a social status that could easily be lost by not behaving in manly ways, like being dominant, aggressive, among other attributes. And when that manhood is threatened, individuals with these beliefs would tend to respond with exaggerated displays of masculinity. Why? Because one must often do things to prove their manhood to others. This belief is also socialized in females, as the theory suggests it is rooted in socialization structures such as family and social influence. Of course, this is a huge part of Queen Alicent's life. She was brought up under those rigid structures, and may highly likely have made her feel as if she was unable to control the hot-headed man in her family, even though she was Queen Dowager as well as Mother of the King. Empires have risen and fallen with the whims of other Queen Dowagers, but Alicent was, exasperatingly so, not going to exercise that power. Comparing Alicent's upbringing to Rhaenyra's, Rhaenyra was empowered from a young age by her father and the whole of Westeros to be heir to the throne. It also helped that she was a dragon rider, and often read stories about Rhaenyra Targaryen, Aegon the Conqueror's wife. Rhaenys, the queen who never was also a staple presence in her life, reminding her of the equal power that Targaryen females wielded over men, especially when they were riding dragons. So one could not fault Rhaenyra's look of disbelief when Alicent's helplessness was shown as she left the scene. To Alicent, the ship for peace had sailed, and Rhaenyra was late to the departure. The last bit of Rhaenyra readying herself mentally for war was gold. It was as if the veil of wanting to believe that people want peace had lifted, and her eyes, shooting fiery daggers at the camera, just like in Season 1 Episode 10, spoke tons about her unleashing her dragon fire very soon upon the Greens and anyone who might stand in her way. Mummy's going to war. Like this video? Hit the like or subscribe button to follow.